Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Haft here in a secret location. I have all these valuable documents hidden. These are Commerce Department emails and stuff like that. And on this one here, it says Beaver Dam plan removal. As I mentioned, the relocation plan is not perfect in terms of having crossed all the T's and dotted the I's. However, the city did the best given has already been done in some aspects beyond its responsibilities. No, they didn't follow any of the laws. Most of the properties were vacant, so there was no displacement. They told us we couldn't fix our building, and then we couldn't enter them and all this stuff. It's all fraud. Okay, and then it says few of the business had already relocated prior to doing the plan. The city's asserts paying premium prices for properties. No, they're not. The people are under threat in that. It's just like, where do they get these people? Given that the approval of the plan was not likely to meet the approval of Jack. Well, see, Jack Sanderson, he was the head of the relocation department at the time. Okay, Jack is an honest person, doing his job, and he fought for these people. And Jack is an American hero, is what he is. And it said, I was wondering if we should turn to Dirney, and then it says because they are desperate to sell, and displacing is a matter of those two parties to resolve. They were not. It's unbelievable, though. These, like I said, where do they get these people? I mean, when they interview them, they ask them if you're all right, if you take food off the table, off of kids and stuff, and ruin people's families. And then here's some of this, another commerce email. It says, the city found itself in a unique position that being the idea of the redeveloping the area came from the property owners themselves. No, it didn't. They came out and threatened us and stuff. They ruined the people, and it got to the point where, well, see, they had Michael Furchow. He eventually was working with the city and the DNR because he had a squeeze on them. I'll get into that later. But the city was cognizant the need of to compensate the displacees for relocation expenses, the four businesses that reoccupied with buildings. Then how could they have their attorney take care of it and then write it down, get the money, and give it to somebody worth $200 million for an illegal development? Okay. It just blows your mind. It makes your head spin. Once it became clear to the city that it needed to submit a relocation plan, the department prepared a relocation plan within like a day, wrote down anything they wanted, and I'll show you how in the resolution. Mary Ann Shack, she's did this. Okay, this is, I have completed my review of the city's relocation plan department, and it's a James Frymark signed on here. He approved the relocation plan, the fraudulent one. Yeah, it's okay. This is from the state of Department of Administration. They took over to Commerce. It was Scott Walker's con job afterwards. The offers by the city and DNR purchase were voluntary sale offers. No, they weren't. These are fraudulent statements that affected these people, the losses, involved majorly with the conspiracy to commit fraud. Mr. Haft has not accepted any of the offers made by various parties to DNR City to purchase property. In case where the purchase price is not acceptable, it's not what they think it's worth. Like the mayor would always say, it's not worth anything, But he actually came and doubled my taxes. But well, anyway, that's why they have appraisals. So the people are treated fair and legally for the property. These criminals in these cities. The property has not been part of a subject of condemnation or involuntary taking, moved out of the property a year ago because the DNR was going to buy it, and then they walked away because I said the truth about the dam. In conclusion, we find the city of Beaver Dam did not violations. They didn't follow any laws. These are the people in the commerce that give away hundreds of millions of dollars and stuff during like the stimulus and then this environmental, and no total disregard for the law. Okay, this is another commerce. Jim Farmark and Jim O'Keefe. Those are the big co-conspirators in this. Jim, given this is a sensitive matter, know that you told Joe the questions of our response to the plan should be referred to me. I'm absolutely comfortable with that. I appreciate the confidence you have in me, and it's a delicate issue. It's okay. Here's another one. You can actually, I think, pause these and then bring them in. And then this is from Farmark and O'Keefe again. Jack came to me visibly irate, asking me what the role in Beaver Dam was. I told him I have an interest in of the other floodway projects that is subject of the relocation plan concerns. And then it says, for example, we could write, this is to confirm the earlier conversation that a relocation plan needs to be written for those businesses who will be displaced. Yeah, it needs to be written so we can commit more fraud by giving it away to the unintended recipients of the grant that was wrote for. Okay, and on one hand, I'm thinking we don't need the meeting. On the other hand, maybe we do. So, and this come out of Beaver Dam newspaper. In our meetings we had with the Congress, we found the relocation wasn't an issue. I think in the next couple of days we'll have to nail down whether we need to do a relocation plan or not. It's a federal relocation law. There's a federal law. They supersede criminals. They had to do it. In the meantime, city officials are hoping as soon as today to get concrete answer from Commerce on whether a relocation plan is actually necessary. Said that the Wisconsin DNR contacting the Secretary of Commerce in an attempt to keep the project on track. What does the DNR get involved with all the time with projects for communities, for their relocation? Yeah, so they're involved with the fraud on this too. Just add another 11 counts and stuff. Okay, in the meeting, the city remains in limbo. In our meetings we had with Commerce, we were told the relocation wasn't an issue because they conspired to commit fraud. I think in the next couple of days we'll have to nail it down whether they need a relocation or plan or not. Shaq said to City Attorney West Dallas, who cares about her? Okay. And it says downtown roadblock. City unhappy with last minute demand on the state agency. And in the bottom it says Mary Ann Shaq says, I have a headache, Excedrin headache. City Attorney Beaver said at Monday night's council meeting, I talked to the Department of Commerce that said if you guys are going to make us jump through more holes. So she's special, Mary Ann. I thought when you were city attorney, you're supposed to work for the citizens in the community. Okay, this is from J.D. Van Hollen. Jack Sanderson had it. I'm not going to go into this in respect to Jack, but he filed, this was a draft of a complaint that he filed against the people. He stood up for the people. He said, Jack Sanderson's a hero, folks. If you ever meet Jack, buy him a drink. Okay, it says, Mayor Kennedy, our jurisdiction in this matter is limited. It seems to me that this situation, this was from Dave Jenkins from the Department of Administration. This is before he got told that the laws mean nothing. Okay. It seems to me that in this situation, the issues of relocation assistance and underlying property acquisitions are inextricably linked. And inextricably linked means they're bonded, inseparable. So when they came in and the mayor, they took care of it. I gave him the email, and he could see on there that those are crimes. Okay. Duplication of benefits. The president consults head of the federal agency administering any program to any person's business concerns or other entity suffering losses major, and it says you can't receive duplicate funding at all if you receive money from anything. Okay, this is from when Dick Leinenkugel, of all people, he was the Secretary of Commerce at the time. I'm sure he knew so much about it after pouring beer. And then it says on here, they wanted the city they applied for a CDP, AAP. That's a disaster funding, it's EAP. Okay. $1.71 million for a forwarding housing complex. Why would the city of Beaver Dam apply for a grant, a disaster funding grant for a WIDA project, an illegal one? Because they couldn't get that, because this is duplicate funding, because this is funding from the disaster funding. Okay, and then the mayor goes down here and goes, $7.16 million. If you want to read this, you can. And it says on here, it says $7.6 million. They got $6 million from WIDA, okay, plus this. So it's almost double the amount. They said it was a loan that they got, but I had to look it up. I'm the only investigative reporter in the state. Yeah, he was something, Tom. So they conspired to commit fraud because the building couldn't be legally developed. They knew it was in the floodplain, and they also knew that the funding couldn't get duplicate funding. Okay, now this is I showed you where they got their relocation plan, and then they made them waive it, and they got it. It's just it makes your head spin. This is a DNR email from some of their big conspirators. Wow, $1 million more than they needed. Don't see that too often. Rob would dig a little deeper. Secretary Frank in a budget picture following closely, and we'll have questions. I learned yesterday Beaver Dam got a conference call to Beaver Dam and FEMA that the city received $3.7 million. And it says that they got 2.7, and I did not get a chance to ask them what they did with the extra million. FEMA, as far as I'm concerned, they're a bunch of lowlifes. I tried to contact them and wouldn't return. Okay, replacement housing payments. It says on here, State Wisconsin, the benefit under state laws provide 48 months of rental. All the people that rented in those apartments, they didn't get nothing. The people that rented the business, they get nothing. They don't care. It's unbelievable. And you'll see later on where they had all the money and where it went. Instead of helping the people, it was designed to help. Okay, this is a couple of Jacks. I'm not really going to, as respect to Jack, he basically stood up for it. When you buy a piece of property, they have what they call a rider. And this is the one they had signed. Absolute Home. I told you, Furchow, he came in after the flood and he wanted to have a meeting with all the property owners. And I knew the guy was one of the biggest cronies and dinks that I had ever met in my life. So I thought I'd just go for the hell of it. He came in, he tried to get us all together and this and that. And if you look on here, this is for Vicky Williams. That just happens to be the name on here. Seller and buyers on there. They tried to say that if I didn't sell my building for my assessed value, that the deal was not going to go through. Okay. They tried to coerce me, with threats and fear and ultimatums. Okay, again, for how many times? Is offer to purchase the satisfactory office contingent on the in-writing environmental indemnity from the state of Wisconsin DNR, which they couldn't get, okay, because they didn't negotiate with the people. It was the threats, fear, and ultimatums. After they told the people that you couldn't fix your building, okay, there's a form of condemnation. It's called inverse condemnation. By the threats, the fear, the ultimatums, the duress, they rendered their property economically useless. I mean, why would you, you couldn't fix your building, it just blows you away. The offer continuing on all approvals necessary for the creation of the TIF district, and the buyer is, made on there. So it's just, some evil people, man. It's just heinous crimes. Okay, so this is another one from Ken Johnson, downtown Beaver Dam. The project is shovel ready. The bottom one here says, is Alderman Ballwig leading the effort for the city? The measure enjoyed wide support by the council, 12-2. The city's economic coordinator, Trent Campbell. Oh, yeah. The same guy that has no problem with the lead paint contaminate. And then it says, is the mayor involved? Absolutely, with several meetings with the mayor. And I want to apologize because every time I go through this, it makes me sick. Because I thought we had a democracy here. Evidently, Wisconsin isn't. It says most grants awarded by the DNR require appraisals. According to the state statute, appraisals are required before the government agent can negotiate a price on the property. People on the radio, what are the laws for? Protect citizens? Only if they're enforced. Okay, schedule an informal meeting with the parties necessary to solve the dispute. Joke. This is the best government money can buy. Waiver of relocation benefits executed knowingly without duress in the following requirements. And it says on there, shall be given pamphlets and then inform the property owners in writing regarding the specific dollar amounts of services waived before executing a waiver. Most of them, they put down owner replacement. My building was almost $100,000. Yeah. And I'll get into some of these other buildings that did relocate and what happened to them because they got defrauded of their relocation money. Timing plan of submission, any option taken, offer to purchase by the agency is upon receipt of the relocation approval from the department. A map identifying each part. So if you're part of this project, this disaster funding, you can't just pick out certain buildings and threaten them afterwards, because once you tell them you don't want to sell, they can't do anything after. So all those crimes that they did after. And there's the waiver conditions. Yeah. Okay, this is the state energy office again. This is, after Scott Walker took over. And this is unbelievable. Although the complaint covered a range of issues, it seems to center one of the addendum was offer to purchase Mr. Hayes' property dated, Mr. Hayes did not accept the offer he's in position to propose because it was involuntary. It was illegal, okay? In 2010, they acquired a property in a voluntary sale. There was never a voluntary sale. I was under duress the whole time. It says, in general, Mr. Hayes not accepted any offers. There never was a written offer. There never was it's just a criminal organization, the whole thing. That's like when I put on there, this is a corrupt criminal enterprise, and you'll see it's all phases of the state, city, government, everybody. According to Ken Johnson, he's another one of the big cronies from the DNR. The Wisconsin DNR has authority to compel the owners of such structure to demolish them and remove the debris. No, you can't. There's a constitution. These people, where are they? Where are these criminals? It's unbelievable. Okay, this is a jurisdictional offer. A written notice given by the acquiring authority to the owner of the property and any mortgages of record which informs the recipients of the public property. And it says that this is for the owner replacement, which they wrote down for everybody. Then they came back 6 later. They hired these cronies, which I'll go into later, from way out of state. And they're specialists for HUD. They're like the cleanup guys. They come in. And if it says right here, the acquisition substantially changed or interfered with the principal offense of the nature of the business or farm operation as to cause the displacement. And this is for the replacement payment. They owe them people that money. They got it. They stole it. Okay, the purpose of the 302 is providing relocation. These are the laws. It's just like as some bar owner have to explain to them, but they knew what they were doing. Yeah, they have to do relocations. Yeah, so I want to read that stuff. I'll put it here. These are the laws and stuff. What do they mean, right? It says information before the initiation of negotiations. Excuse me. An agency, except an agency without eminent domain power, taking a project where such project does not exist. Okay, the city of Beaver Dam has eminent domain powers. An owner of property shall receive a pamphlet, and it's just, yeah. And it says, relocation assistance policies must be provided for fair, uniform, and equitable treatment of all affected persons. Not done. Minimizing the adverse effect of displacement is essential to maintaining the economic and social well-being of communities. Yeah. And it says, implementation acts result. Yeah. Okay. No person shall be required to move from their dwelling on account of any program or project undertaken by a federal agency. The city is a federal agency because it has eminent domain powers. Yeah. And then here's an interesting one, too. This is in our DNR email. It says, regarding the support for NSP grant through the Department of Commerce, DNR Secretary Matt Frank calls Commerce Secretary Dick Linecool to voice support in sending a letter. So they're conspiring to do that. More conspiracy. More crimes. Okay, and it says on here, this is from the DNR with all the cronies involved in here on that. It says, you beat me to this. I was going to send it out to all. Beaver Dam City Council voted again last night to approve the demolition. Voted to approve the financing, approve the purchase of the buildings, and approve the community block grants. Approved to make application for stewardship. Commerce has approved their relocation plan for the block grants. Closing on the building purchases is set for 30. Well, folks, I hope you never have to deal with this Commerce Department. And like I said, Jack Sanderson is a total hero. He's the only honest person that I could find that worked at the Commerce Department. These guys been there for years. How much fraud is going on? You people go to work, okay? You work your ass off to pay taxes to support criminals, to fund these criminal agencies within our government. It's ridiculous. And if you don't be afraid to comment on my stuff. Don't be afraid to like it, okay? Don't be afraid to share it, okay? Because this is your country. People go over in the war and fight for their country. Why not fight for it here? And this is for you. Because I'm 67, I'm pretty much going to be dead pretty soon with all the stress they've created for me. All right. Thank you, folks.